Hey guys, and welcome back to the Metal Emporium. Today I'm going to continue on with my Ozzy Osbourne collection. This is part 2, and I'm going to start off. I'm going to show you some unofficial live recordings from Ozzy. Some of the stuff I have on CD, and some of it I have on LP. I'm going to start off with this one. This is the Kelmford Flash. This is called, it's a live recording from 1980. And this is at the Kelmford Odeon in the UK. This was October 22nd, 1980. Really good recording here. This features the original Blizzard of Oz lineup, of course, with Ozzy and Randy. And you've got Lee Kerslake on drums and Bob Daisley on bass. I'm not sure about the keyboardist on this. But this is, like I said, a pretty good sounding recording. This is out now on LP. I think there's a double LP of it. I'd love to pick this up sometime. It's kind of pricey. This is just a CDR that I've had for quite a while. I've got several CDRs to show you here. I gotta say, a lot of this stuff is out now. You can get it on professionally made CDs and on vinyl. There's tons of bootlegs that are out now. The unofficials, we call them bootlegs. But they're just, the bands make nothing off this stuff. The artist makes nothing off of it. So it's out there unofficially, but it's out there for sale. Some very nicely made stuff is out. You can find stuff online. Just about anything I show you here, you can find it online. If you're looking to buy a copy of it, it's probably various versions of it. Also, just about any of these recordings you can find on YouTube if you just want to listen to the audio of them. This one here is called Let Me Hear RR, or for Randy Rhoads. That's another CDR that I have. And this is actually from Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is January 15th, 1982. And another audience recording that actually sounds really good. Some of the recordings that you get are actually radio broadcasts. And if they were broadcast, it's actually somewhat legal to release them. It's kind of a sketchy subject there, but if it was broadcast, it's kind of public domain. So if it was broadcast over the radio, a lot of stuff like that gets actually released as unofficial albums and CDs, like I was just mentioning. This is another, I guess, audience recording here. This is Ozzy, Randy Rhoads. This is live at Wing Stadium, Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is February 9th, 1982. And just a good set from the Diary tour. So unofficial recordings have been out for years. The bootleg stuff's been coming out for years. Now this is one of the old bootleg LPs from the 80s. And back then they basically had to kind of press these into plants kind of behind the scenes after hours, where they didn't know they were actually making them. This is Ozzy, Randy Rhoads, Bathead Soup. And this is live in Cleveland. This is 1981. Much of this recording, this was a broadcast, a radio broadcast. Much of this recording was used on the Randy Rhoads tribute record. The Ozzy Randy Rhoads tribute that came out in 1987. But you see, this was just a white sleeve. It has a printed insert in it. And the label on this is just a white unprinted label. But a lot of unofficial bootleg stuff would come out like that back in the day. But of course, this is a great sounding show here. Here's another CDR here. This is a 2 CD set. This is the Speak of the Devil show from the Ritz in 1982. This was recorded September 26th and 27th at the Ritz in New York City. And it's the recordings that they used to make up the Speak of the Devil album. I love listening to this. It's got... like I said, Ozzy's voice is cracking up on it. The band makes some flubs here and there. All the in-between song banter, you hear Ozzy's talking. The September 26th show, like I said, that's the first show. They were a little rough at that one. They were much better the second night on the 27th, and that is the show that was used for the Speak of the Devil recording. Basically, they went back and re-recorded all Ozzy's vocals. But when you listen to the second disc in here, this is what you've heard for years. The raw recording that of what you've heard from the Speak of the Devil album. A few years back, I met guitarist Brad Gillis, who played on this album, and he told me the only thing they went back and re-recorded was Ozzy's vocals. And it's really cool to hear the in-between song banter and stuff. I know on the actual Speak of the Devil album, sometimes you can faintly hear Ozzy saying stuff in between songs or saying stuff during songs. It sounds like it's completely faded out of the mix. Well, it's all here because it was pulled out of the mix, and probably one of the other microphones probably picked up some of the bleed over from it. But it's funny, some of the stuff he says, a lot of profanity, and they took all that out, of course. But it's really cool to hear this recording. I think there's an unofficial album out now where they basically took the raw recording and took the vocals from Speak of the Devil and mixed them together somehow. This is what I was told. I have to look for that and try to pick that one up. But I love this recording because Speak of the Devil is one of my favorite Ozzy records. So when I got this, I just played the crap out of it. And while we're on the Speak of the Devil subject and show, here's a CD that came out. This was a nicely made up CD. This is called Speak Evil of Oz. And this is a 2 CD set. You got the second disc, and this is the actual show I was just talking about from the Ritz. It's the first night, September 26th. But the first disc is the Irvine Meadows live show, which was broadcast over the radio, and it was filmed, shown on MTV, and it was also officially issued on Laserdisc in Japan, and then years later it came out on DVD here in the States. This, of course, is the Speak of the Devil lineup. You've got Rudy Sarzo, Tommy Aldridge, and Brad Gillis on guitar along with Ozzy. But yeah, that Irvine Meadows show is just legendary. I used to love to watch that as a kid on MTV, and then when I finally started collecting the bootleg videos, I got that and just love it. It's a great show. They were doing, regular Ozzy songs. They were doing stuff from Blizzard and Diary, along with a couple of Sabbath songs at the end. It was the regular set that they were playing on the 82 tour before they decided to record the Speak of the Devil stuff. But this is very well made up. It's got nice digipack, 2 CD set. It's got a nice booklet in it with a bunch of photos and stuff. But yeah, very, very well made piece here. No label here, but this is something you can find online. I think it's been reissued, repackaged a couple of different times. So this Captured Live series was a well-known bootleg unofficial series out with a bunch of different bands. They had the Captured Live LPs came out. This one is Ozzy Osbourne at Live in LA in 1982. It says featuring Randy Rhoads, but it's not. It's the Irvine Meadows show that I just spoke of on that other CD there, and this is it. It's a 2 LP set. This was given to me by my friend Lil Ozzy. Some of you guys probably know who Lil Ozzy is, and he's an Ozzy tribute. He was featured on an episode of the Ozzy and Jack's World Detour program. But yeah, he gave me this a couple of years ago, and I was glad to add it to the collection. Here's one I picked up last year. This is Speak of the Madman. And this is an audience recording. It's from the Glasgow Apollo. And it's December 19th, 1982. And this was recorded, of course, after the Speak of the Devil concert. You still got Tommy Aldridge and Brad Gillis in the band. But the bass player on this is Pete Way from UFO. He had actually joined the band for a while. So you've got just a good basic set of stuff they were playing on during that period. And I think it was Pete's, it was his second to last show that he did with the band. Yeah, and Don Aries on keyboards on this as well. But yeah, having a recording with Pete Way, I thought that was pretty cool, and anything with Brad Gillis on it from that period I wanted to pick up too, so this was a cool one to find. Speak of the Madman. Okay, here's a cool one. This is the US Festival. So in the 1983 US Festival in California, Heavy Metal Day, Ozzy played on that, and this is the full set from that show. But yeah, this is such a great show, legendary show actually. Parts were filmed of each band and assembled and shown on Showtime, if I remember right. But you've got one of Jake E. Lee's earliest performances here. He had come into the band. He'd done some shows beforehand, but this is probably his first like big show that he got to play with Ozzy. And of course, you got Tommy Aldridge on drums, Bob Daisley's back on bass, Don Airey on keyboards. But I always loved that show. You know, I've got bits and pieces of it on video, but this is a great set list here. They actually even do Fairies Wear Boots. I mean, they're doing all your basic stuff from the first two Ozzy records, but they and they always played Children of the Grave and Iron Man and Paranoid. But this one they actually do Fairies Wear Boots during that set. But this was very well made. I love the album art here. They've got the Obi strip here to make it look like it's from Japan. This series is on the Rock Brigade Records. Put this series out, and I've got several other records that this label has put out, but they're very well done, and it even has a poster with it, and just very well made. Double LP here, has a little postcard in here for the album, and just like I said, they've got some other inserts in here for some of their other releases. But yeah, Rock Brigade, they make some really cool stuff. It's one of my favorite Ozzy unofficial albums here. And here's one. This is an unofficial live recording from the Ultimate Sin tour. This was Castle Donington in England. This was the Monsters of Rock Fest there, August 16th, 1986. Now this is an audience recording, but it sounds pretty good. It's on 2 LPs. And love the cover art. This is Axe Attack Records. They make some really cool unofficial records too. They got the Obi strip down here, like I said, make it like it's from Japan. It's got a nice gatefold cover here with lyrics. Like I said, 2 LP set. But yeah, that is a great cover here. That's an artist did a kind of a takeoff rendering of the Ultimate Sin album art there. Okay, here's one I got recently. This is the Osmosis Sessions, and this is just a bunch of songs that were worked on. Some of them ended up being on Osmosis eventually, but you got a good portion. I think it's 9 tracks here that were recorded for a proposed Ozzy Land album that Ozzy did with producer Mark Hudson, who had famously worked with Aerosmith. Those were recorded somewhere around 93, 94. And it also has 3 tracks that were recorded in 92 with producer Michael Wagner. And this is on the Excitable Records label. This is a split LP. It's one side is Earth, which is pre-Black Sabbath. The other side is the Flying Hat Band, which was a heavy rock band that featured Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest on guitar. So what's on here is it's 4 songs from Earth. It's 3 songs that were recorded in 1969. You've got The Rebel, When I Came Down, and Early One Morning. And then it also features Blue Suede Shoes, recorded I think at the Beat Club as Black Sabbath in 1970. But yeah, this was cool to get. I'd been wanting to get those early Earth recordings there, those songs. I had heard them playing in the background in one of those Sabbath documentaries, and but I was glad to get this. Like I said, this is an unofficial album, split album from Earth and the Flying Hat Band, and it was on Great Barrier Records. It says made in Australia. Not sure. It came out in 2014. Here's a CD that came out a few years ago. It's called Black Sabbath Early Rituals. Very well made CD, professionally done. Here, this is Black Sabbath, recorded at the Ragman's Youth Club, the 16th of November. This was in Dumfries, 1969. They do The Warning, Behind the Wall of Sleep, NIB, Black Sabbath, Wicked World, Blue Blooded Man, A Song for Jim, and Early Morning Blues. But this is an audience recording that sounds really good. But like I said, it's nicely made up. This was on Witch House Records unofficially. But yeah, you can probably find this one pretty easy. It's out there. One of the first Black Sabbath bootlegs that I ever got on CD was this. It's just called Paranoid, and it's the recordings that were for years it was not live in 1970 in Paris, but it's not really Paris. There was the video that came out, I'm sure you've all seen, of Sabbath from this show, but this is the audio. It was actually recorded in Brussels, Belgium. How it got tagged as Paris and has been known as a Paris show for years, I'm not sure. So this has got 8 songs from that show. Then it's got 2 songs tagged on it from the California Jam 1974 added to it. But yeah, pretty cool. So when we're talking about the Black Sabbath Ozzy era records, all the studio records, I don't have anything really odd from those. All mine are just like the regular Warner Brothers pressings from the US. I do have a few of these compilation records that came out. This is a German comp. Most of them are made up of songs from like the first 3 or 4 records. Their manager kind of just licensed this stuff out, and it was all over Europe in various compilations. This one's just titled Black Sabbath Attention, and it features, I think this is a German pressing here, but it's just songs from the first 2 records, but kind of cool. This one's from the UK, I believe. This one's just called Attention Black Sabbath Volume 1, and it's made up of songs from the first couple of records. Geezer Butler actually has autographed this for me. I met Geezer when he was doing he had the GZR band when the second GZR album came out. He was actually out on tour with Bruce Dickinson, and I met him and I had him sign a few things, including this. Falling in line with this one I just showed you, this is volume 2 from that. They had cool pictures on them, very colorful albums as far as the covers go and stuff. Got to show this. I mean, this is a very well-known record. This is Black Sabbath's greatest hits. This was on NEMS Records. This was actually the first Black Sabbath Ozzy Osbourne record that I ever got. I remember getting it as a teenager. I think I bought it at like one of those, like a 5 and dime store or something, like a Roses or something like that. But I always just loved this cover. It's called Triumph of Death, the cover art. And man, I would listen to this record and just stare at this cover, and just the dark, evil sounding music just fits so well with this album cover. And I think that record got repackaged several times as well. But here's a version that I picked up. This is a German pressing of Black Sabbath's greatest hits on the Platinum label. This is Black Sabbath's greatest hits, and it's the exact same songs that are on that other record that I just showed you. But if you notice something a little odd here, the picture here is Ian Gillan. And of course, Ian Gillan sang on the Born Again record in 1983. I'm not even sure if this photo of Ian Gillan here is from his Black Sabbath period. It could be from his Gillan solo band, which was right around the same period. But yeah, it was crazy. I ran across it one day and I was like, wow, this is going to have some stuff from the Born Again. I flipped it over and it was the same songs that are on the other Black Sabbath's greatest hits, just stuff from the first few albums. And I was like, wow, I'm still going to buy this just because it's such an oddity. I got to have it. I just love finding stuff like this. So in 1998, Sabbath released the first live album that was official with Ozzy Osbourne. and it was titled Reunion, and it was from their reunion tour that they did with the original 4 members, and it had 2 new studio tracks on it, Selling My Soul and Psycho Man. And this is the CD single for Psycho Man. It's got 3 different versions of the song on it. It's got the regular studio album version, and it's got an edited version, like a radio edit, and then it's got a remixed version on it as well. But yeah, this was a pretty cool one. Thought I'd show you guys this. You don't see this one very often. I thought the 2 songs on Reunion were better than anything on the 13 album. And of course, you've got the original 4, including Bill Ward, playing on those 2 tracks. Okay, so Ozzy appeared on several people's albums. He did guest appearances through the years on different albums. I've got a couple here just of note that I wanted to show. This is Gary Moore's 1988 album, After the War. And Ozzy did a song on this album called Lead Clones. There were so many bands coming out at that time that kind of sounded like Led Zeppelin. And so Gary and his band wrote a song about that, and they got Ozzy to sing the lead vocals on it. And this is actually the 7-inch single for that song, Lead Clones. Really cool song. Check it out. You probably find it online. Pretty easy to find. Okay, in 1990, Bill Ward, Black Sabbath's drummer, Bill Ward, released his first solo album, and this is called Ward 1, Along the Way. And he had a bunch of guest appearances on this record, including Ozzy alumni, Bob Daisley, Zakk Wylde, and Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy actually sings the lead on 2 tracks on here. He does Bombers Can Open Bombays, and he does lead on the song Jack's Land. But yeah, this is a really cool one. This is actually really hard to find on vinyl. Like I said, it's from 1990 on the Charisma label. I have that one on CD as well. So Ozzy had a song on the No More Tears album called Hellraiser that was co-written with Lemmy from Motorhead. Ozzy and Zakk co-wrote it with Lemmy. And Motorhead also recorded that song on their 1992 album, March or Die. There's a single for the Hellraiser song. It was actually on the Hellraiser 3 movie soundtrack. What that brings me to is in 2021 for Record Store Day, this 10-inch EP was released, and it features both versions of Hellraiser, the Motorhead version and the Ozzy version. And it also features a mashup of the 2. So you basically got the Ozzy track where they switched out vocals between Ozzy and Lemmy. But this is a really cool piece to get from 2021 Record Store Day, Hellraiser, Ozzy and Motorhead. Okay, so here's my Ozzy DVD collection. This is the Irvine Meadows show from California, from the Speak of the Devil tour. Of course, it's the show that they showed on MTV where they're doing stuff from Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz. Of course, couple of Sabbath songs at the end with you've got Brad Gillis and Rudy Sarzo, Tommy Aldridge, and Don Airey. And just a great show. This has actually been officially released on Laserdisc in Japan. This is a rip from the Laserdisc here on this. This is a bootleg copy here, DVD-R. It got released in the States officially. I never actually picked up a copy of it. I'm wondering if it's out on Blu-ray now. I'd like to get it. Okay, here's a show from the Bark at the Moon tour. This is Montreal in Canada. This is April 27th, 1984. It's fan filmed. Someone actually had snuck a camcorder in. That's what we called them back then. Those big ass cameras were called camcorders. And somebody snuck one in to the concert and filmed this, and they did a really good job with it. There's a bunch of shows from Canada from around this period that someone snuck a camera in and actually filmed, and they did a really good job. This is a Pro Shot show from the Bark at the Moon tour. This is Salt Lake City, Utah, and this was actually officially released on VHS, if I'm not mistaken. But really good show, Pro Shot with Jakey Lee, Bob Daisley, and Tommy Aldridge, Don Airy on this. Here's Ozzy's show from Rock in Rio, 1985. Pro Shot concert here. This is another show from Canada, probably shot by that same guy. This is from the Ultimate Sin Tour. This is from the Forum in Montreal. It's April 1st, 1986. Ozzy, Jakey Lee, Phil Souchon, Randy Castillo on drums. Ultimate Sin Tour from Canada. Here's another fan-filmed one from that same tour. This is from Detroit, and really cool one here. So they released a professional home video from that tour, and it was called The Ultimate Ozzy. And this is a DVD rip of that. I used to have the actual VHS tape of this. I don't know what happened to it, but it's a really good show. It's got some music videos spliced in, some little comedy stuff from Ozzy doing a vampire. He's chasing that chick Julie from the Shot in the Dark video, and she's having nightmares and stuff about him. It's pretty funny. But this was CBS home video. I think it was 1986. Here's a Pro Shot show from the No Rest for the Wicked tour. This was Philadelphia, 1989, and this was actually a pay-per-view concert. And I remember getting this on VHS years ago. This is a DVD rip of that. I think Bullet Boys opened, but it was, like I said, it was a pay-per-view, and from the No Rest for the Wicked tour. And you've got Ozzy with Zakk Wylde here, and you've got Geezer Butler from Sabbath on bass and Randy Castillo on drums. Yeah, really good show here. This is a documentary. It was released in 1991. I originally had this on VHS as well. This is the official DVD that was released of this. This is called Don't Blame Me, The Tales of Ozzy Osbourne. And it's just a great documentary about his history, and it's got the making of the No More Tears record, and just a lot of behind the scenes footage. This was the first time the Randy Rhoads After Hours footage had actually got released in some form. But yeah, this was a really cool doc. Of course, I showed Live and Loud in the last video. Here's the DVD for that. Here's one from the Osmosis tour. This is Santiago, Chile, 1995. It's a Pro Shot. You've got Ozzy with Joe Holmes on guitar here during this period. You got Dean Castronova on drums. You know, Dean that's been in Journey for years. Of course, Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath on bass. Here's one from 2002. This was an official release. This was released on CD and cassette as well. This is live at Budokan, and great professionally shot show in Japan. You've got Ozzy with Zakk Wylde on guitar, Robert Trujillo on bass, Mike Borden on drums, John Sinclair on keyboards. Here's a really cool documentary. It came out in 2011, God Bless Ozzy Osbourne. This was a film by Jack Osbourne. Jack put this together, Ozzy's son. He put this together, and it was very, very well done. Really enjoyed watching this one. Here's the Ozzy Randy Rhoads comp. This is a bootleg. It's just a bunch of footage assembled together. It's got the After Hours footage, and it's got some stuff that was filmed, like fan film footage, and just some different stuff featuring Randy on this. Here's the Heavy Metal Day of Us Festival in 1983 in California, and this has got Ozzy with Judas Priest, Scorpions, Motley Crue, Quiet Riot, and was headlined by Van Halen. And really good to see the footage of Ozzy. It's not the entire set. There's actually footage on YouTube where somebody's found some more footage. This was actually aired on, I think, like HBO or Showtime or something back in '83, and that's what it was filmed for. And someone's took that footage and assembled with some other footage they found, some archival footage, and it's all on YouTube if you want to see the Ozzy set from Us Festival. Now here's a great one. This is a compilation show here. This is the Rock Pop Fest from Germany in 1983. Great show here, pro shot for television. You had Iron Maiden, Scorpions, Judas Priest, Michael Schenker Group, Crocus, Quiet Riot, Def Leppard, and Ozzy Osbourne. So this is during the Bark at the Moon period for Ozzy. So it's Ozzy with Jakey Lee and Bob Daisley and Don Airey. And instead of Tommy Aldridge on drums on this, you've actually got Carmine Appice on this one. I think each band segment's about 30 minutes long. But yeah, this is a really good show. Here's some Black Sabbath. This is a bootleg here. This has got a couple of great concerts on it. It's the 1970 show from Belgium, or Paris, as I spoke of earlier. Some people think it was Paris, but it's actually in Belgium, 1970. It's the whole show from that. And also 1975's Don Kirshner's rock concert footage when they were on the Sabotage tour. So yeah, this is really cool footage here. This is a cool compilation here. This is Black Sabbath's Story, Volume 1. And it goes through all the Ozzy era stuff. A lot of great clips on this one. This was officially released by Sanctuary Records in 2002. But yeah, it's a really good one. Oh yeah, this is a great one. I had this on VHS way back in the day. One of the first bootlegs I ever got. Here's a DVD of it. It's Black Sabbath Never Say Die. It's 1978 tour live at Hammersmith Odeon in London. And just a great show here. So this is right before Ozzy and the band party company. But yeah, excellent show here. This is an official release from 1999. This was the Black Sabbath Last Supper, so it's the original lineup performing together again. Great show here. Here's an unofficial one here. This is Black Sabbath, the original lineup, performing at the 2005 Castle Donington Fest. Gonna wind things up here with some books that I have on Ozzy. Now, I did an episode not long ago on tour books, so I'm gonna breeze through these. This is my Diary of a Madman tour book from 1982. This was gifted to me by my good friend Jimmy Schoaf a few years back. But yeah, this is really cool. Here is my Bark at the Moon tour book that I bought at the show. And I had Jakey Lee autograph it several years back when he was touring with Red Dragon Cartel. And Jake also autographed this, my Ultimate Sin tour book from the 86 tour. And Phil Souchon actually autographed this as well when I met him at a Last in Line show. The Ultimate Ozzy, yeah. This is I Am Ozzy. This is Ozzy's autobiography. Here's a book by Rudy Sarzo called Off the Rails, and it talks about his entire career and goes really in detail about his time with Ozzy and Randy Rhoads, of course. Here's a couple books by my friend Martin Popoff. This is Sabotage, Black Sabbath in the 70s. And this one's great. This is Black Sabbath, Doom Let Loose. Really in-depth book about Black Sabbath, on the Ozzy years and everything. This was a really cool one on the Rock Detector series, Ozzy Osbourne by the late great Gary Sharp Young. This is a really in-depth book here. Gary actually interviewed a lot of people that were involved with the Ozzy camp, people that worked for him, musicians, of course. You get a lot of behind-the-scenes stories. He didn't interview Ozzy or Sharon, so you actually get a lot of the truth here, stuff that would get covered up later on. But yeah, this is a really good book if you can still find it. And speaking of the truth, we have Bob Daisley's book, For Fact's Sake. And this is Bob's autobiography. It goes through his whole career. And there's a lot of detail about the Ozzy period, especially the early days, the formation of Blizzard of Oz and everything, and all the stuff that he did with Ozzy through the years. Here's a really good hardbound book here from Joel McIver, What Evil Looks, The Complete History of Black Sabbath. Yeah, this is another really good one. So that's going to wrap up this episode of the Metal Emporium. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and come back and see us next time for more metal. And long live Ozzy Osbourne. We love you, Ozzy.